And once a crime is now established, that is when you can now take such a matter to court. It is not within the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to try a criminal matter.
The allegations here are not of a criminal nature. The position of the Constitution in section 137, subsection 1J, is with respect to the fact of forgery, simpliciter. It doesn't make any provisions with respect to a trial. It doesn't make any provisions with respect to convictions. It doesn't make any provisions with respect to punitive measures or a punitive sentence in any way whatsoever. The Supreme Court has held, as far back as in 2017, that the mere establishment of forgery, simpliciter, on the face of it, is sufficient enough to issue an order disqualifying the candidate from the election.
Can you quote your case law on this last submission you made?
Is Honorable Hassan Saleh versus Chris Abba and others. That is the case that you are looking for. It's a case decided by the Supreme Court in 2017, where the position of the court is that the proof of forgery, simpliciter, without more, is sufficient enough to ask and give an order that a candidate in the election, be disqualified from that election. Very straightforward.
The registrar of the institution was very unambiguous in his submission that he indeed was a student of the institution. So I think what is happening in Nigeria now is simply politics. It's just politics. And I see it as just playing to the gallery.
Beyond the fact that he graduated from the Chicago State University, what's also under contention is the fact that he forged the certificate which he presented to INEC. Chicago State University registrar, under oath during the deposition, had said that they did not issue the diploma that was presented to them, which President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had presented for his candidature to INEC. So they didn't. So maybe the question I would ask you, and for the lawyers in the House, would be this. If Chicago State University did not issue that diploma, who did? Was that diploma forged? So he might have graduated from CSU from the deposition, but where did he obtain the diploma, the certificate that he presented to INEC? Was it forged?
Let me just put it to you that you will recall that Mr. Westberg himself, that's the registrar of the institution, said that diploma certificate was just a ceremonial document, and that what matters was the transcript issued by the institution, to students. And of course, he had the transcript. So what are we talking about here?
I want you to speak to the certificate, not the transcript. What's under contention here is the certificate, which CSU said they didn't issue to him, which the president submitted to INEC. I don't know if he submitted a transcript, but he did submit a certificate from CSU. Where did that certificate come from?
Okay, my simple take to that is why we have the courts to preside over issues. The Supreme Court is there, then you take your case there. So
I'd like
we
you to come
do
in.
not need all this yo-yo dance taking place up and down Nigeria.
It's not a yo-yo dance, it's quite important. But let me go to Mr. Ilemona.
Section 1, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria simply stipulates that this is the ground law of our country. It is the supreme law of our country. It is in legal terms, the very foundational legal framework of our country. So everything else pales in significance. Section 1, subsection 3, anything that is inconsistent with the provisions of this Constitution is null, void, and of no effect whatsoever to the extent of that inconsistency. Then you go to section 137, subsection 1J, clearly stipulates that anybody who submits a forged certificate, it does not say a forged transcript, it does not say a forged whatever. It says a forged certificate. So it is the Constitution that makes it important. And the Constitution is very clear. It relates to a certificate. Did he submit the transcript about which he speaks? I don't know that. But did he submit a certificate? Yes, he did. Now, the Supreme Court has again, in the case of APC versus Obaseki and others, also reached a conclusion that in determining the veracity or otherwise of a certificate, a denial from the issuing authority, from the issuing institution, is germane to determine whether or not that certificate is original and authentic or it is fake and forged. In application to the extant case, the issuing authority, the issuing institution, Chicago State University, has clearly, unequivocally, without doubt, without hindrance or restraint, stated the very simple fact: this certificate submitted to INEC did not emanate from our institution. Beyond that, there's no fishing expedition required. Did he submit a forged certificate? Without doubt. At this point where we stand, the answer to that question is yes. Unless we are seeking to trivialize our constitution, not just in this regard, but in regard to everything else it contains, we must place sacrosanctity to that provision. And it's very simple. Did you submit a forged certificate? Yes.
That's why we say you read the laws holistically. Forgery, for example, thank God my learned colleague cited the fact that issuing authority. So let me quickly dwell on that before I come to section 29 and the old section 30 of the Electoral Act 2010. The position from what I read, that this certificate was issued by a third-party vendor. You know why police in Nigeria don't win cases, hardly win cases? Because they leave loopholes. The next question should now be that the parties should be asking themselves is, who are third-party vendors? There's been argument back and forth, for and against, that third-party vendors are legally authorized to issue certificates, diplomas, replace diplomas in some schools in America. The question you should be asking yourself is, these third-party vendors, and that's where investigation must come in. These third-party vendors, are they authorized to issue replacement diplomas in CSU? The court will deal with facts.
If what they are saying is, oh, we did not issue this, meaning, because if you have a third party to issue, that third party is not doing it of their own free volition. They're doing it because you authorized them. Yes. Right or wrong?
Yes.
So if you did not authorize anybody, when you're under oath, you will say, this document is not from us. When they say it is not from us, could it possibly be from a third party? Do you think when the third party represents them? Is that not true?
No, the third party represents them.
Yes.
So in this case, that's what I'm saying. You need to investigate that leg of the third party.
But they are under oath, Ruben. I'm sorry, not Ruben now, Liberus. They are under oath, Liberus. They are under oath. And they said it is not from us.
Do you know
meaning that whoever issued it was not authorized by us, or was that an assumption?
I tell you, if you go to page 30 of the deposition, line 23, the question is, I am going to hand you what has been marked as Exhibit 5, entitled Undergraduate Diploma Order Replacement Form. And this is the form that is posted on CSU's website and on the Graduate Diploma Order or Replacement Form. The answer is yes. Do you recognize this document? The answer is yes. Do you people fill out this form in order to order a replacement diploma? The answer is yes. The next question is, and does everyone have to fill out this form? And the answer is, if they want to order a replacement diploma. Now, if you narrow it down in the deposition, Caleb Westberg, the CSU registrar, has stated very clearly that if you want to order a replacement diploma, you have to come directly to the institution. I do not know where we've gotten this argument about third-party vendors.